pretty sure that Delyaries can pick up the slack as far as it comes to like survival and stealth and that sort of thing. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So who knows? His little pocket dimension of rope trip has been pretty clutch lately.
It sure has.
Quite a bit, actually. I just thought his last joke, not meant to be a joke, but when he was talking to those mushrooms and he's like, he said something like, I'll just get out of your... Then he paused and he's like, I'll just let you go.
Yeah.
That's so funny. I couldn't stop laughing. Oh my god.
Yeah. That was pretty good. Yeah, wall ceiling floor. Wall ceiling floor was fun.
Wall ceiling floor.
Yeah, that was pretty funny. I had a great time last session just being able to roleplay all those silly characters. Like
I like it how we're sometimes we're trying to be very nice about some of these NPCs, like, should we kill him or should we keep him around? And we're kind of like our regular meta versions are like, maybe we shouldn't do that. And then like at some point we just like, no, let's just get into our other version and like, get rid of this guy. He's not doing anything for us. Trying to get a little more aggressive, I think, with our decisions.
Yeah.
Moral decisions.
Let's wait till Koli jumps in. I think we're ready to go. I think we got everybody. Make sure I got that. Cool. Well, good to see everyone. Hope you're all doing well. Oh, I had a question for Jesse. So, are you breaking up some ice flows at river mouths right now with the cold?
No.
Nope.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
Oh, okay. No, I saw a small little story about a like one of the little Coast Guard tugs, little cutters, breaking up some ice. I forget which river. That. Yeah, I forget which river it was, but they were opening it up. I think it was for some wildlife as well as to get a couple ships like back in, like smaller vessels. So I didn't know if you were doing that because it's been so cold.
That's a fun job.
Yeah.
I'm actually down in Connecticut this week for a school in New London.
Oh, cool.
Which is not as much fun.
Not. Those were whenever getting sent out to another place for training. It was like, all right, this is nice because it's a break from the norm, but it's usually not very much fun. Yeah, you're just like stuck in a classroom for X number of days or whatever it is. Nothing entertaining about it, that's for sure. It's hard enough staying awake through most of it.
Yeah, today was 8 hours of PowerPoint.
Oh, excellent. Yeah. PowerPoint is a great way to teach people. That's really like premier training method. Well, let's get into it. Who would like to begin the recap? Anyway.
From what I remember, we went down in Frost Hall, and our characters, and I think some of us in real life were actually confused about whether the skeleton was alive or not.
Oh yeah, that's how flooding back.
I don't remember.
My notes consist of 1/18/22.
What? That was it. Just the date. That was
just the date. As far as I got.
Great job. I don't remember their names. Roger was one.
So it is Dolid is the skeleton. Yeah, and Bruegel.
That's right.
Bruegel is the living, presumably the final only surviving member of the Defenders of the Peaks. That's at least kind of what you've seen. And of course, he believes that he is one of two surviving members of the Defenders of the Peak. He seems fully convinced. Yeah, for decades, and he seems fully convinced that Dolid is alive and treats him like that. Having conversations back and forth with him and like asking him questions. So
Dolid stands a good watch, though.
Yeah. As long as somebody gives him a knife, he seems pretty solid.
Took a nice long rest, and then Nova had a conversation with Bruegel. Found out that there was I forget the word, but the orange down one of the tunnels.
Naftalena.
Naptalena. I'm not going to remember
That's
that.
the name of the dragon.
That's the name
Well,
of
It translates into orange.
right.
We don't know exactly what is
Yeah.
Right.
that, but we heard it. We heard that name.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
So
And you don't know if Bruegel really knows what it is either. Like he's just kind of passing on information that he's heard, but it doesn't appear that he's seen it or even really knows what it is.
so we ventured down. Me and Ward ventured down one of the tunnels. There were signs of heat damage, some melted rock, melted marker stones, and then we came to a kind of an opening, a little chasm in the mountain, and looking down was the orange, supposedly looked like lava or what do you call it, liquid fire, flowing fire.
Mm-hmm.
And then some stone walkways, and then we decided to get adventurous, and we're trying to see what's on the other side of the pathway, and we came to a gate. Was it a magical lock or was it just real intricate?
If I remember correctly, you only were able to confirm that it is an intricate lock. I don't think anybody had like detect magic or anything like that, so that hasn't been tested. But both Delyaries and Flux work together to try and figure out the lock. They made progress. They were unable to unlock it, but they did roll enough to learn about it. So they learned that it has at least 2 mechanisms within it, possibly more, but at least 2. And that them working on it didn't do any injury to the lock. It's still intact. They just failed to unlock it. So they're like, it's still there. It's still possible to open. And that's kind of what they learned in that initial attempt.
We saw that Chiron is still cursed. He tried to change into an eagle, and his feathers got singed, and then he threw up again. And then Bruegel and Dolid suspect we've gone down the tunnel.
Right. And I think is it Nova who's also on the
Yes.
had remained behind on the opposite side. Okay.
So it had nothing to do with it.
Right. Her, I believe it was she and Chiron who heard Bruegel say something, and they had looked back kind of up the tunnel that had led you here, and had seen Bruegel and Dolid kind of like approaching and concerned about what was going to happen. So. Cool. Yeah, that's pretty good. Does anybody else have anything to add?
The left hold that we didn't go down had water and supplies supposedly, but we don't know because we decided to take the more dangerous
That was the boring side.
Yeah.
So we didn't check it out.
Totally.
Oh yeah, we talked to the mushrooms too.
Yeah, wall, ceiling, floor. The fungal community of Frost Hall. Yeah, they were
Interesting.
Yeah, they weren't super helpful, but they were more helpful than I think some of the other fungal communities that Ward has talked to. So, yeah, cool. I think that's pretty great. And let's do. Let me share the screen again, so you have an idea of setting where you're at. So basically, I have. Dumple's still alive. You shanked that guy.
Sure did.
Yeah. All right. So I've got Argor and Chiron. Chiron and Nova are together on the far side of this chasm, kind of watching what the rest of you dum-dums are doing. And then the other 3 of you are all on the far opposite side. Other 4 of you, I guess Ward is here as well with you, but the far side, and you have approached this very large stone double door with a appropriately large locking mechanism set into the middle of it. And the other big thing that you've noticed with this stone door is that it is not affected by the heat, and it appears to have been infused with quicksilver. So I think that was an investigation check that you had made when you had first approached the door. So you
A lot
found
of
that,
quicksilver.
yeah, so you found that the door has a lot of quicksilver in it. You can also infer, it does not mean that this is the case, but you can infer with your knowledge of quicksilver and its uses that it's possible this door does have some sort of magic running through it. Quicksilver is used very commonly as a conduit of magic within other items. So that's the situation. And then Nova and Chiron, you you see Bruegel and Dolid making their way. Of course, Bruegel is pulling Dolid in the small little cart down this tunnel towards you, and you hear, I think, Bruegel shouting, "I know, Dolid. I told him not to go down there." So that was kind of like a very faint echo. So there's having a conversation, and he's very worried about like seeing all of you down there. So so let's start out with the group next to the door. You've kind of assessed it. You've got your lockpicking tools in there. You've investigated. You've learned that there's at least 2 mechanisms that are holding this door shut. What do you do? And of course, Koli, you're there as well, so you can offer assistance and suggestions.
I'd like to see if there's anything written on the door, or investigate it for other weaknesses or signs of who's been there.
Okay. Go ahead and roll investigation. And I'm trying to think if there might be another thing you can. Yeah, probably just investigation.
Anything else would be great because I got a 4.
So you're taking a look at this door. It is imposing. Like you had kind of been
Big.
running across that bridge that's broken into pieces. It's got large slabs of makeshift stone made to kind of span some of the distances that are broken away. This door towers above you. It is solid stone, clearly very heavy. You don't see any hinges or anything exposed, so it definitely like opens inwards once it's unlocked. But as far as like any other features that might provide any clues, you don't really see any. It's clearly been here for a long time as well, because you can see the damage, like the similar heat damage to the surrounding rock, where these doors don't seem to have suffered the same. So, how about Delyaries?
I think I had a bad roll last time. I think I'm gonna try to pick the lock again.
Okay. All right. Flux can still help you. This is a large lock, so 2 of you can work on it together. So if you'd like, you can roll with advantage as Flux kind of assists. I believe that's what he did last time too, kind of like pointing at things.
Yeah.
Is that a sleight of hand?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. And let's try it. Better this time. 30.
Nice. Okay. So you very deftly, having kind of learned how that first mechanism functions in that your initial failed attempt, you kind of rethink it a little bit, imagining how this might work, imagining the inside mechanisms, and you very quickly go in and you pull a couple levers. You can feel a spring kind of release a little bit, and then you hear a very solid click, but a very clean click. It's not like a big kunk where something shifted. This was like very
Precise. Like very
precise. Exactly.
Yeah.
Like that click was loud enough for you to very easily recognize it and hear it, even though kind of there's that dull sort of roar in the background from the liquid fire below. But this mechanism is incredibly precise, unnaturally so compared to like the rough edges of this door, right? You wouldn't have figured that this locking mechanism would have been such high quality.
I think I'm going to communicate that to Flux and who else is there?
Koli. Yeah.
Koli. I'm gonna turn to them and say, you guys, This lock is not a normal lock. This is a very advanced, high precision lock. It might be interesting to think about what might be on the other side of this door. Who might have installed this? This such a unusual, masterful lock.
Are you actually telling us it's dangerous, or is that your way of telling us how good a lockpicker you are?
I know. It's like, woo-wee.
Yeah.
Lock.
It's like a humble brag. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know what's behind this door, but it's got to be important. I'm also really good at opening important doors.
I'm doing this.
Yeah.
I'll push it open.
All right. Yeah.
So you lean and put weight into the door. It does not budge. It appears that you have unlocked part of the lock, but not the entire mechanism.
We'll go over Delyaries. You were saying?
Highly unusual.
Let's go to Nova and Chiron. So you see Bruegel and Dolid making their way down this tunnel. Now they're still a ways off. This distance is. I guess took you a little bit of time to get down here. Bruegel is not a fast dwarf. One would never call him fleet of foot, and certainly not when he is pushing or pulling a small mining cart with an armored dwarven skeleton in it as well. So he is moving towards you as fast as he can, but it's not very fast. What do the two of you do?
Nova, how do we get across this chasm?
We want to do. That's what we want to do.
Or face the nut coming down here with the skeleton
Can
in
you
tow?
just make it difficult terrain or something for him to struggle to get over here? Maybe put up a wall or.
What's the end game? We should probably get across this chasm at some point.
I suppose. But what if they just end up having to run back after whatever they was on the other side, and we have to deal with all getting across the bridge in a hurry?
We're stuck between a dwarf and the chasm. we try to talk it out with Crazy McLooney.
I mean, what is he going to do to us?
Smash cut. Yeah.
Bruegel beats the shit out of him.
Yeah. Bruegel and Dolid are just standing over the two of you like in crumpled forms, like your arms and legs are bent at weird angles.
He's yelling. He's a defender of the peaks.
Well, maybe
break into my tunnels.
Maybe we try to squeeze some more information out of him. Are you feeling quite charismatic?
We'll have to calm him down first. He seems upset.
So I'll kind of shrug and I'll turn towards the tunnel where he's coming, and I'm going to take my scimitars off my back and I'm going to put them on the ground, and I'm going to raise my hands.
Okay, so you basically like disarm yourself, raise your hands, and you hear him
mean no threat kind of thing.
Right, yeah. Okay. So he is continuing down, and oi, stay right there. Don't move any further. And you hear kind of like the clanking and rattling of the cart with Dolid in it. You can see like that armored skeleton kind of like rattling and bouncing around in the cart as it's making its way towards you. And he gets close enough, and where are the rest of your friends? Dolid, I know. I'm finding out.
Nobody's just going to point across the bridge.
Oh, dear. What are they doing?
I don't know.
Are they trying to... No. And you see his face just kind of fall, and Dolid's like skeleton just kind of like falls and crumbles a little bit to the side in the cart.
So I'll say, what is back there behind the gigantic door?
Those are the treasures of Frosthall. But that door has not been opened for hundreds of years, and it has not been opened for a reason.
And that reason would
All of a sudden, we hear a
be-
clanking noise.
Well, I've only heard the stories, but we, the defenders of the peaks, have our own defender. One that lies behind that door, protecting the things that we need to keep on going. And under normal circumstances, when, of course, we're in full force, proper training, we would come together, create a ritual, and be able to enter to withdraw the things that we need. But Dolid here can't handle his half of the ritual, unfortunately. Call your friends back before it's too late.
Can we hear any of that conversation on our side?
No. You could see the two of them there talking with Nova and Chiron. You can see that Dolid looks disheveled and Bruegel looks like visibly tense, like he's tense and upset.
What would happen, hypothetically, if they tried to open the door without the ritual?
Well, it's never been done, so I why would you want to do that? You're unleashing any number of things in there that might, and he's flustered. He has no idea. And he's not even. You're realizing once you're questioning him further, very easily you're picking up on the fact that he actually has no fucking clue what's behind that door. No idea. Like he's just at some point was told you don't go in there, and he just was like, okay, I don't go in there.
Well,
We both get that.
Yes, yeah, like okay. He's terrible at hiding any sort of emotion. So you pick that up immediately. Like he's getting flustered and nervous because he's realizing he can't actually answer your question because he has no clue.
Well, we might need the things that are behind that door. There is part of the reason that I'm with these people is because there's some great evil that is going to, I would say, besiege the peaks. So, since what's behind that door is supposed to help in a time of need, maybe it would be a good idea for us to open it.
Go and roll persuasion.
I'll walk to the edge near 8. I'll just kind of hold my hands out.
Oh, okay.
Like, what's going on over there?
What's he saying?
Okay, so 15.
15, okay. So he visibly softens and, thinks about what you're saying. Because ultimately, he is faithful to the cause, right? Like, he does want to defend the peak. You're kind of calling upon his honor and tradition as a defender. So you can see him, he's still hesitant, but he's not as upset about the situation, and he's mulling it over. And
that's good.
Yeah, there's a pause, and then you kind of see him furrow his brow, and then he looks over at Dolid, and he leans into Dolid, and you just hear whispers in Dwarven. No. We agree that perhaps your argument has some merit. I warn you, though, what lies beyond that door, without a proper ritual, is dangerous. But for the sake of defending these peaks against an incoming threat, as terrible as you make it sound, perhaps this is an opportunity, one that Dolid and I here alone never would have had.
Do you, by any chance, know the ritual that would be needed to open the door?
He kind of shakes his head and hangs it. He is visibly ashamed. And you just hear some mumbling under his breath, and you don't hear the answer, but you get the feeling that he either forgot it or he was never deemed worthy enough of being taught.
And there's not any sort of manuscript or instruction manual that would have how to complete the ritual? Or wouldn't it be anywhere you know of?
No, this was a tradition handed down from generations and generations of defenders. Unfortunately, it died with most of them. I dull it. No, you shouldn't be closer.
So turn over Chiron and so how do you think we should proceed? Also, should we tell them that we should stop or pause or
My hands are up the whole time, and they're getting a
Right.
little tired.
Kind of like your shoulders are starting to burn
It's
a little.
like, oh God! And I'll turn to Nova and I'll say, "What's the worst that could happen?"
We could all die.
And I'm gonna turn around and give the guys a thumbs up,
like a hidden one, or just
like a hidden thumbs up. Like,
yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right. So Flux, Koli, Delyaries, you don't know what happened on the other side of this chasm, but it looks like it's still a go. So, what would you like to do?
This is gonna egg on Delyaries to, hey, I see a little thing here. You gotta try to maybe twist this and like poke it a little bit or something.
Okay. Perfect. Delyaries, another sleight of hand check with advantage as Flux helps you continue your lockpicking endeavor.
See how we do this time. 29.
29. Nice. Okay, so you kind of taking his instruction as well as just relying on your own instincts, especially after that first lock that you were able to disengage. And again, you just kind of drop into that zone, feeling the different mechanisms and the springs, and you're able to feel that tension kind of give for a moment. You give a slight flick of your wrist, and you hear another click. Again, very clean, very precise. And then you hear another click, and then a little bit of a rattling as a gear shifts position, and then a heavier clunk. And you believe that the second portion of this lock was the final portion of this lock, and that the door should swing open easily.
I look over to Koli and Flux, and I say, maybe we should wait before opening it. Do we want to wait for Chiron and Nova to come over here, or should we tell them that we're going to open?
I push it open.
I'm imagining you're like looking at her and she's like saying this, and you just keep eye contact and you just walk past and like push it open.
No.
I feel like he's like nodding, like, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Totally.
I'm using reverse psychology.
I'm hearing you. What you're saying is push.
So Koli, you put your weight against that door, and it is almost effortless how easily it swings open. And as it does, you can feel the weight of that door swinging through space, but it is so smooth, and there's like no tension or anything like that. It just like easily swings open, even though you're probably moving like 3 tons of stone right now. It moves very easily. So you're able to kind of push it open, and then just inside you can see a small kind of atrium that has a very tall domed ceiling, and it immediately illuminates with light. So above you there are apparently some sort of triggers that set off a light within this dome. So Nova and Chiron, you immediately see that light, because this is like white daylight, very different from the orange glow that's kind of filling this cavern. And you see Koli just kind of like push past Delyaries. And Koli, do you step in at this point and just kind of look at the inside of this room?
No, yeah, I think I'll turn back and kind of beckon the rest of the team, Nova and Chiron, and the dwarves as well.
Okay. So Nova and Chiron, you hear like under his breath, you hear, "By the end, would you look at that? I know, Dolid." And he kind of looks at the two of you and, well, are we going?
Ooh.
Sigh, I suppose.
And Chiron will nod and say, "Do you know the trick to get over this puzzle bridge?"
And he kind of looks at you, shrugs, grabs Dolid's cart, and then just starts like rumbling across it. So they quickly kind of make their way across. You can see that middle section sways a little bit as the two of them pass over. They get to that final stone tablet that kind of connects that center portion to the other side, and they kind of rumble over that. You see them kind of like tilt a little bit. You can see the stone wobble, but they catch themselves, and then they kind of pull up next to Flux, Delyaries, and Koli. And then Bruegel like turns around and waves, and then gestures like, "What are you waiting for?"
I follow immediately.
Do we go one at a time, or do you think we'll need to balance? You're big.
Well, he went with Drugel or whatever. Which, by the way, I can't wait for Drugel to say something, and I feel like he's going to.
Dolid.
Yeah, sorry, Dolid,
Yeah.
not Bruegel. Dolid.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just know it. Anyways, he went with him maybe to balance his weight. So I'm sensing maybe we go together. Because even though I'm large, I think it was balanced maybe for them, and that's what happened with our friends.
All right. Well, we'll see how it goes.
I pick up my scimitars and throw them back on my
on.
back. Yeah.
Okay.
And here we go.
Cool. All right. So you are able to navigate those first couple sections quite easily, just like everybody else did. But as you're approaching that gap between 6 and 7, that final portion of like a makeshift bridge, you can see that on the far side, that stone that's under number 7 there is like a little bit tilted. And you saw that when the first group kind of made their way over, they were very careful on it. There's a little bit of like crunching and grinding. You saw Bruegel and Dolid kind of have to navigate that stone a little bit carefully as well. So who's going first?
I don't know if it even matters. I think if we're just going to copy the way they did it, he's got a cart. He's pulling the cart.
He pushed it across.
Pushed it. So I would go behind because I would be the heavier one and you would be the lighter one. So you go in front.
Okay. I'll do that. I'll go first.
Okay. All right. So you make your way across Nova and you step onto that final extension of the opposite side. You can feel that weight shift slightly on the stone, and you take a couple steps and it kind of balances out, and you wait there. Chiron, you start making your way over as well. As you step off onto that stone, you can feel it shift again. And Nova, you feel yourself kind of get lifted up into the air just a little bit. Now, this is a massive stone. It's not going to shift a lot, but you also know something of this size doesn't require to be shifted a lot for it to go off balance. And Chiron, I'm going to have you make a dexterity save.
Sure. Let me just check my modifier here. That's a 10.
No.
It's a strong 10.
Okay. So you are able to stumble forward quickly. You fall to the ground on the opposite side of that stone, kind of next to Nova. And the rock kind of shudders for a moment. You very cautiously, gingerly get to your feet, carefully trying to like manage your weight distribution. And you get to your feet, you step off of it. Nova, you do too. There's, again, kind of like a grinding, crunching sound as the stone resettles. But that is not nearly as stable as it was before you went over it. So this is going to be something that everyone will have to be very careful with when you return. It has been basically like destabilized each time someone has passed over it. And that final one was a little bit much as far as the shift in weight distribution. But all of you are on the other side. And you see Bruegel pushing Dolid's cart kind of like, not aggressively, but definitely shouldering past all of you to make sure that he's the first one into this chamber. And he does so slowly and clearly in awe. As he enters, he's just kind of like looking around, and you look at this, Dolid. You ever seen anything like this in your life? And just like you can hear the slow, steady creaking of that cart as he's pushing him slowly through this first chamber. The whole thing is polished stone. The floor is fine marble. And you can see that there's dust everywhere. Like you're stepping and you're leaving footprints in the dust. It's been a very long time since anyone has come through here. But the level of artisanship is beyond anything you've probably seen. Some of you have seen some very nice work in Kholdim. Chiron, you've probably, more than the others, have probably seen several dwarven cities, though you weren't necessarily focused on their architecture. But this is stunning. And light is reflected off of this dome ceiling in a way that just causes the whole room to be illuminated equally. So there's no shadows. Like the light is being reflected and bounced off everywhere, that creates this almost like weirdly perfect lighting situation, which might, depending on your character, might be a little disconcerting, like being fully illuminated like that. As you kind of all enter, the door remains open unless anybody shuts it. Though I will say that none of you know what causes the lock to engage, and you do not see any sort of mechanism on the inside. So this is definitely locked from the outside. So
leave a little stick in the door
situation. Right, yeah. Anybody have a little brick or a little rock or something? So that's what you kind of notice as you're entering. And there is a single hallway ahead of you that, as all of you kind of enter, you see that same sort of bright light start turning on, following down this corridor, and you can see almost like a flash of white light quickly, almost like lightning, kind of connect each one before it turns on, so that as if there's they're run in a series and all triggered in turn. And then finally, a short distance away, about 60 feet, you can see it open up into a larger chamber. And from this point, the light is like very bright, so you can't see a whole lot more than that, but you do see that it opens up into a larger chamber at the end of that corridor.
Do we still think that this is dwarven construction, or
100%?
Maybe something. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, 100%. This is definitely, this is dwarves with a lot of time to be able to create something this ornate and precise. Like, they spent a lot of time and effort to create this this series of chambers here. And at this point, you're realizing that this is a vault. That's really what this is. As it doesn't seem to serve any other purpose aside from being able to put things in it and then lock. Like, you're not seeing a lot of different corridors or chambers. Not really any other features, like any sort of storage or furniture. Like, none of that in sight. So you're presuming that this is like a single purpose, and that if it is what Bruegel says it is, then it is a vault.
I'll go up to Bruegel and I'll give him a little pat on the back and kind of looking around. I'll say, "Fine job to the both of you. This place is amazing."
Thank you. This is impressive. I have, in all of my days, I have never seen anything like this before. And he's still stunned with everything, because you got to figure he's been living 40 years in a cave for the, I mean, like he hasn't really lived in anything or seen really anything of this quality in quite some time. So he's just blown away with everything. And I Dolid, we do owe them thanks for this. And he just again kind of is just looking around and slowly pushing Dolid through this room, and then he starts down this corridor. As you enter this long hallway leading to the chamber at the opposite end, you see these amazing murals of what can only be the history of the Defenders of the Peak. So you see dwarves in battle, and against any number of creatures. Like you see some that you've encountered. You see a white dragon, for instance, snaking and serpentine along the walls, with dwarves kind of wrapped in its coils. Others above it with axes jumping from cliff sides down on top of it with ropes tying it to the ground. I mean, very like impressive vignettes of dwarven battle on these peaks. You see them fighting off massive bears and towering, like two-legged upright, I guess like abominable snowmen or yetis. So it would be the closest thing that you could use to describe them. Large, icy green spiders that cling to cliff sides and launch through the air. And you can see some of these dwarves now not only have axes and hammers, but also large, like mechanical fists that appear to be filled with fire. This just kind of goes on for both sides, and on the ceiling is just this beautiful ongoing mural made of stone inset into these walls, like each kind of section of it carved out perfectly to fit in like a puzzle piece. So this whole corridor is like one big jigsaw puzzle of history, all kinds of different colors and textures to match the images that the forms are depicting. And again, the light is reflected in ways to highlight these images in almost unnatural ways. Imagine like if you're in a museum and they have like the really precise overhead lighting that kind of hits from all different angles. Well, the ceiling of this corridor is built in such a way that does the same thing. Like it is incredible engineering and design that went into this, and it's like it is beautiful in like every aspect. Like any objective opinion on this is that this is a beautiful piece of art that's been made here. And finally, you again follow Bruegel and Dolid into this larger chamber that opens up, and it has until this point remained unlit. You can see obviously the glow from behind you kind of reaching into that room, and you can see some shapes within, and Bruegel kind of pushes Dolid in, and well, I'm not sure what's going on in here. Perhaps the mechanisms have aged and something's not working properly. The light should come on, I suppose. Dolid, you look over there, I'll look over here. And he like pushes the cart off to one side, and you just hear it kind of like rolling a little bit out of sight. And then he kind of branches off to the other side. Well, I can't find anything to illuminate this room here. Anyone have any torches we could use?
I have a torch. I have a torch, but I don't know if we should use it. The last time we lit a torch in a room, or we didn't, I guess. Would it be wise for us to maybe check this room for some kind of traps? I feel like with such excellent engineering, how could they have just missed this room? Maybe it's supposed to be dark in here for a reason.
Go ahead and roll investigation.
20?
Your suspicions, like you can't confirm them 100%, but you feel like your suspicions are correct. Like something's not right in here. And judging by the rest, like you said, kind of the precision and level of engineering that went into the rest of this structure, it is unreasonable to believe that if there was light here, that it would not have illuminated. There's a level of perfection to this space, and this is not matching that perfection. So you don't find anything, but something is off.
I communicate that with the rest of the group and just kind of warn. I think we might be in trouble if we strike a match.
Gas leak.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Flux would. We can't see anything. Complete blackness in this room.
It's not complete blackness, but as the light was designed to illuminate everything in that corridor, it was equally designed not to illuminate anything in this room. Mm-hmm. Like you would have thought that there would have been more like ambient light kind of being shed into this larger chamber, and it's just not the case. Now, having seen everything else, you're imagining that's probably because of the engineering. It could be magical. There are ways, obviously, with light and darkness and that sort of thing to kind of produce the same effect. But it does not feel like magical darkness. Like there's something there. It's not like complete darkness. So you're guessing that it's probably by design that this room is not illuminated in this way.
Mm-hmm. So I think I would kind of creep along the wall, edging my way with like a foot out to find if there's like a drop or or a gap or anything, and feeling my way along the wall to feel what's out there, and kind of investigating that way.
Okay. So do you go in Dolid's direction or Brugel's direction? Like, kind of, do you go Brugel's? Okay, so you're following.
That was like leftish.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
So he's kind of ahead of you a little bit, and you can make out a very faint outline of him. Like, there's enough light that you can see that just a few feet ahead of you, and you're kind of feeling your way along the wall, carefully, stepping, kind of running your toes, across the ground first, lightly, to see if there's any obstructions. And you're not feeling anything, and then very quickly you can kind of like you run into Dolid, not like roughly or anything, but you like feel him right there, and sorry, I can't see any further, and this is odd. Like, you can tell that Bruegel is like kind of concerned as well. Like, he's starting to question, like, maybe this isn't an accident. Maybe there's a reason why this is dark. Can you see anything ahead?
Could I would like to, if the DM will allow it, of course, cast guidance on myself and then wild shape.
Okay. All right. So guidance won't help. I mean, it's a cantrip, so you're not going to use the spell slot, but it won't help you with a save.
Oh, because that's a save, not an ability check.
Yeah. So bless would be the spell that would give you the bonus to the save.
Koli, you would have bless, I think.
Yeah, I do, and I'll twinkle my fingers and cast bless on him.
Twinkle my fingers and my toes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So bless, I think, can target up to 3 creatures. So you can give that to Chiron and 2 others if you'd like.
Nova and that's for what? Combat?
It gives
and saves?
plus 1d4 to attacks and saves. Yep.
I'll give it to Flux.
And Flux. Okay, cool.
You guys, you want me to be a bat and make a bunch of noise? I'm just kidding. They do have blind sight. I think it is smart to turn into a giant spider.
Okay.
So I'd like to try to curl into a little ball, as much as Chiron can, and disappear into my clothing and come back out as a giant spider.
Okay. That's terrible and creepy. Go ahead and make a Constitution save. As
everyone keeping track, we're making the save here again. I must be sick, Koli.
Stop wild shaping, Chiron.
I'm using the coin because I just rolled a 2.
No. Oh no.
10.
And that you added the 1d4?
I did.
Okay. All right.
Oh boy.
So.
Oh wait, sorry. 12.
12. Okay.
But I think I've rolled 12 and failed on this before.
So you transform into this spider, and your clothes kind of like crumple to the ground, and then are you literally leaving them behind, or are they just like crumpling to the ground and then being absorbed into your form?
Being absorbed into my form.
Okay. All right. I assume that's good. Yeah.
You're disgusting.
And then it fails. Chiron is naked.
Yeah.
DM got for the record, for the recording, the DM's always bringing us here. Just kidding.
So those clothes kind of get absorbed into your spider body, and your spider body is not looking great. Like, you're in spider form, but
like a daddy long legs missing a leg.
Like, yeah, like one of your legs is like clearly broken. There's a chunk missing from your abdomen. Ugh. And you feel pain. Like, it does, it's not going to be like hit points or exhaustion or anything like that, like mechanically, but your spider form, because it's like, you said giant spider, right?
Yeah, it's pretty big.
Yeah, so it's a large beast. So you're taking up, like 10 square feet. It's quite large. So your body is like messed up. And Koli, you looking at it, like, immediately you're like, holy shit, like that's not good. If I saw this spider, I would think that it's dying. That's like, this spider does not have lungs. That is initial. That is like the immediate immediate response that you have to seeing Chiron's spider form right now. It's in bad shape. Yeah, there's like discolored patches on it. It doesn't have like one nice like uniform pattern like spiders usually do. It just looks sickly. It looks bad.
Well, okay.
But Chiron, you can see 10 feet in front of you with your blind sight now. And
only one of your eyes has a cataract.
Right. Yeah. I mean, he's got another 7, so he's good to go.
So it's okay.
So I've got dark vision, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So you're finding that the dark vision does not give you the bonus that you were expecting. And though I will say that you can now see Bruegel and Flux kind of to the left, very faintly, and you're not entirely sure if it's because your blind sight is kind of assisting your dark vision, or if it's just the dark vision. But like you can kind of see them, and then you can look over to the right, and you can see Dolid kind of like in his cart, but leaning up against the wall, and it's hard to tell in the dark, but it almost looks like he has a hand like up, and he's kind of like feeling the wall. Not entirely sure.
I'm wondering if I should try to spider climb up the wall.
Sure. Yeah. You certainly try. Yeah. I'm
gonna give it a shot.
I'm gonna say after all of that description of what your wild shape form looks like, again, mechanically, it is identical, like to like a regular one. So, yeah, it's more of like the aesthetics and to basically show off to your friends that this is like something is off. But as far as like your abilities and everything, they will function as normal.
Okay, cool. I'd love to try to climb up and maybe check this place out.
All right. So you start climbing up this wall, and you immediately realize it is going to be almost impossible to do. It is so smooth, and the shape of these walls, and you're realizing that like it's basically as soon as you kind of put those first 2 little like climbing claws against it, you can feel the distance in relation, and you know that this room is just a big circle. So a very smooth, gradual ring of a wall, and you take a couple steps upwards, and you start to pull your last couple your back feet up off the ground, and you can feel everything slip just a little bit. These walls are perfect, and it feels weird to climb them. It is unnerving. Even in your spider form, being able to navigate upside down in 3-dimensional space freely, it is very, very odd. So if you're going to continue to climb the walls, you certainly can, but it will require a check. Basically, and I'll have you roll go and make an intelligence save.
This is with Chiron's in?
Yes. Yeah.
Right.
And you can add the 1d4 to this one as well.
Oh, cool. 17.
Awesome. So you immediately assess that this will be part physical and part mental. So some of it's going to be like your physical capabilities of kind of holding the wall and being able to maneuver your body up. And then the mental part is going to be the navigation of like such an alien surface, something that you've never experienced before that is a little disconcerting. So this will be athletics checks and wisdom saves, both of which I think Chiron is pretty good at. So, and your athletics for the giant spider, we're going to go after that strength. So the +2, I don't know if that's different from Chiron's strength, but you will get your athletics proficiency bonus if you're proficient.
Can I use my web attack to try to spin some web?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Okay. So if you want to find different ways of using that, absolutely. Yeah.
I'd like to try to do that, and I will have to like roll attack or something like that.
Cool. What are you trying to do with it? Like, are you trying to create something to support yourself? Are you trying to like hit different portions of the wall? Okay.
I'm trying to make something that will make it easier to climb.
Got it. Okay. Yeah. Go ahead and make an attack roll. With that.
It's a ranged weapon attack for web, so I'm going to make +5 to hit. 16.
Nice. Yeah. So you're able to. We're going to say that you get the maximum range with that web attack with that roll.
Nice.
So you're able to kind of turn back to the wall, kind of angle your body, and you shoot that web up, and it hits about 60 feet up in the air. You hear it and feel it connect to the wall surface, and you like tug on it a little bit, and it seems to hold.
Okay.
So as long as you're using web like that, you won't need to make any of the checks essentially, because that's
Cool.
like your web walking essentially. So
Yeah. So then, because that was my action, do you kind of climb it down? You want me to wait to climb it, or?
yeah, you can start climbing now. You'll make
Okay.
it, I think, like halfway up. With
Okay,
your
cool.
speed. So
that's what I like to do that.
Perfect. So Flux, you are in there. You hear like the skittering and weight of this, large spider. You kind of look back towards the opening to this room against a very faint silhouette. You can see Chiron in spider form launch that web and then start crawling up the wall. I'm going to go outside of this room, back into the corridor with Nova, Koli, and Delyaries. Nova, what are you doing?
So besides the dark room, is there anything else to investigate in here?
There is. I mean, you could certainly take a closer look at everything that's in this corridor. I kind of described what you see by virtue of being in it, but you could certainly investigate closer if you'd like.
Yeah. Dirty 20.
Nice. Okay. So, is there anything in particular that you're looking for?
She kind of just wants to get a better idea of Frost Hall.
Okay. As far as it pertains to like
living here, like when people actually lived here.
Okay.
What if there's anything that like speaks to that in here?
Got it. Okay. Yeah, I think you would, within these murals, I think you would see portions of like large banquets with all of the soldiers, all of the defenders present, and celebrating either, and again, you're not getting like full context out of this, but celebrating something, either a successful campaign against a threat, or perhaps a dwarven holiday. But you can see that I think with an investigation roll of that high, you would also see that the dwarves depicted in all of these pictures are clearly individuals. The time was spent to give them unique features, and there would be, based on the quality and how much time was spent, you can safely assume that these were actual dwarves. They were based off of a dwarf that was a defender that was in that battle. And each time you're looking and you're seeing, like, you see these faces kind of occasionally reoccur here and there in multiple battles, but ultimately you really never see a face more than like 3 or 4 times. And you believe, in fact, that you recognize Bruegel. Now, you don't think that's correct. Bruegel's too young. You know that he hasn't been here that long, and this has been here far longer when it was built. But it's possible that maybe a relative of his. He is a descendant of another defender. I would say that, let's see, we've got, and you rolled like a 20 on your investigation?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Trying to think of what other information you might be able to get out of this.
Is there any sort of like hierarchical structure within, like, are there different uniforms for different people? Are there like
okay, good. So you would see that there's certainly a ranking system, and you're picking up on very kind of standard military ranking, but you do not see uniformity in the same way that you might like a military unit or an army or something like that. So you get the feeling that the defenders come from many different places, maybe hailing from different cities or kingdoms or empires, and have collectively come together. So they kind of wear their own armor. They don't wear like the armor of the defenders. They wear kind of whatever they showed up with. So there's I would say that you're definitely picking up on that. And the last thing I would say that you can tell is that at its height, the defenders probably had close to 100 individuals. So that's like a pretty sizable force in a single location to be protecting these mountains. That's a large number with a single cause. So
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
you're not going to see anything like that outside of very large cities and their like city guard. They might have 100 soldiers. Even like the largest of armies are going to have maybe a couple hundred at a time. Largest armies might bring out 500 to 600 soldiers, but those are coming, and again, those are going to be collected from many different places within an empire or kingdom. So it's a pretty, at least in its heyday, the defenders of the peak were a formidable force here among the mountains. Obviously, whittled down to, depending on your perspective, one or two remaining.
1 or 2. Yes.
Yeah.
I want to take a walk down the hallway and kind of run my hands along the pictures, see if I can get any kind of feeling from them, see if there's any kind of magic or anything like that, since the design is so good.
Okay. So you run your hand across. Now, again, you can feel like the textures of the monsters have been carved in ways that give you the feel of what they actually, like looked like and felt like. So, when they're fighting something with scales, the stone has been chiseled in a way to make it rough. When they're fighting something with hair or fur, like you can feel like a very strange texture to try and match that. And it is incredible. As far as magic, you're not picking up on anything innately, though the level of precision might have used magic in conjunction with a highly skilled artisan. It's definitely possible, but you're not picking up just like kind of running your hands along it or anything like that. You're not picking up on any sort of magical aura or energy that you can feel like that. How about Delyaries, as you're watching Nova and Koli kind of spend a little bit of time kind of walking up and down this corridor, looking at everything, kind of reaching out and feeling the different textures and shapes?
She's interested in the walls too. I mean, she can't take her eyes off them. I think one of the things she's looking at, well, you mentioned that there were like kind of like a jigsaw puzzle. Like does that mean there's like also like cutouts that objects are placed in the wall, or is that just like stones or I guess what she was looking at is if she wants to look at the wall and see if there's any kind of resemblance to the sword that we found, like any kind of relation to the sword, maybe in some of those depictions.
Okay. Go ahead, and since you're looking for something specific, go ahead and roll investigation for that. And you'll get like a little bit of what Koli is experiencing, a little bit of what Nova is experiencing, but you're like really focused on this one thing. So.
17.
17. Okay. What would you see? You would see a battle with a large. It looks like some sort of mechanized construction in the form of vaguely a person, right? Like it's got 2 legs, a torso, 2 arms, and then a head. And on its shoulder is a small figure. And as you're kind of looking closer, you can see this probably like a halfling or a gnome. You're not entirely sure. And this giant, let's use the word colossus, since that's kind of what it is. These dwarves are attacking it, and you can see that there are like flares of light around it. And I think you would see a symbol of what would that be? I'm trying to think if you'd be able to pick this up based off on what you have. I don't want to give you like bad information, so give me a second. Just want to make sure I get it right.
Did everyone else that was looking at the wall look for any specific dwarves, or you guys were just looking in general?
Yeah, they were just kind of looking in general. So you're going to see a symbol on the construct that you don't recognize. And then the other thing that you'll see is basically in the middle of its chest, you'll see a very long, thin oval of bright white. So like a very polished crystal that was inset in there to show off that this was like illuminated in some way. And judging by the scale, this Colossus was probably, you're basing this off of the size of the gnome or the halfling on its shoulder, the dwarves. You'd be able to guess that it was probably close to 50 feet tall.
Probably I'll just, if I see that and I feel like it's so different than everything else that's up on the wall, I'll probably mention it to Nova and Koli. Hey guys, come over, check this out. And I'll just kind of point up at it and, kind of relay the same information, even though I don't have much. It's just strikingly different and maybe unusual.
So as Nova and Koli, all three of you are kind of looking at this. You focus in and you now see that it's definitely a gnome on the shoulder of this Colossus. And on its shoulder is a crow.
Knew it. I was going to say, are there any defining features on this particular gnome?
You guys know a couple famous gnomes like Zook the Card, Alabaster. Does this look like something that you guys might recognize?
I'm in spider form.
Yeah.
Right. He's not even in the same room. So
Yeah.
right now it's just Nova, Koli, and Delyaries that are kind of seeing this.
So what can I roll, like insight or something to make some deductions or?
Sure.
And I think metagame, we don't know anything about Chiron and the visit he had with that raven or crow or whatever came into his room back when we were in Alabaster's tower or Alabaster's dwelling. We don't know that actually happened.
Right.
21.
Well, golly, that sure looks like Zook.
Okay. I will say that out loud.
Exactly, just like that.
Yeah.
Yes.
I roll a history to see if I remember hearing any stories about a Colossus in any of my travels from villagers or whatever.
Sure. Yeah. Go ahead. Yeah, go and roll history.
That's a no. 5.
You would have heard of this sort of thing as a rumor. Nothing like specifically like this construct. And that somewhere there is a mechanic. And that's basically as vague and as accurate as the information that you've got. And like the only thing that's kind of coming to your mind when you're thinking of constructs of this size is like there's a mechanic out there. And I'm saying mechanic with a capital M, not the mechanic, but just a mechanic.
Right. I'm getting nowhere with this. For a second, I thought that the thing that was in these halls that were supposed to help guard the halls were maybe like there's a spell or something, or we say a prayer and all the dwarves leapt off the walls and like maybe some sort of magic is holding them in the walls. But I don't know. I think now it's just a really ornate mural.
I would say that everything you've done so far would have found mundane features. No one has done anything that would show magical stuff. So you haven't like cast any spells like detect magic or like see invisibility or anything like that would have been able to like pick up on like magical infusions. So yeah, if you want to get a little bit more specific, that would be the course of action essentially.
I don't have any of those spells.
Yeah, like I'm trying to think of like let me look up the spell description for detect good or evil. That one might. You might think that would be useful. Yeah, because that would give you that one would be related to like magically consecrated or desecrated land. So this could be if like it was holding the spirits or energies of these dwarves, like that might be consecrated. Like this hallway or this entire structure might be consecrated, but yeah, it's still not like super specific or accurate. So that would be like the ones that I can think of off the top of my head that might be useful right now.
Could we, realizing that we might not be able to do much, go in and look for the others that are down the corridor, or maybe just tell each other, hey, we should probably let the rest of the group see this.
Yeah, I mean, you could certainly go down into that room and call out to Flux and Chiron and let them know, like, hey, you should see this too. If you'd like to do that, you can totally do that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll go do that.
Okay, so let's go. I want to go back to Chiron and Flux and do a couple little actions first, because this what the three of you were doing would take some time. Let's go back into that room. So Bruegel is basically Flux. He's basically told you like, hey, like I can't see anything. I'm gonna head back. There's something off, and you can hear Chiron is starting to kind of climb up the wall. What would you like to do?
Can I see out of the room to see kind of that they're looking at the walls, and I can't see the walls, but do I know anything about what they're doing?
Yeah, I guess if you were to head back with Bruegel, like you would kind of like come back to that hallway and look down, and you can see the three of them kind of investigating, like a little bit of pointing, like, hey, come check this out. So you would see all of that. If you want to get involved in that, then we can kind of plug you in, and you can spend your actions in there as well, helping them out or looking at other things, whatever you'd like.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Yeah. I'll come out of the room then and go into this corridor, look around at things, and let's see if there's anything else I might recognize. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what I can contribute there.
Okay. Is there anything in particular that you're looking for, or are you just kind of like?
No, I might like peek out there, notice that they're looking at the walls and stuff, and then kind of sneak back into the room and spend a little bit more time feeling the walls inside the darker room, see if I can feel any textures or see if there's anything else. And I might with my little bit of flame on the hands kind of illuminate the immediate area, see if I can see anything more.
Okay. Go ahead and because your fire is going to give you like 10, 20 feet of dim light, right?
Yeah.
Something like that? Okay.
Yep.
Cool.
10 feet.
Okay. Yeah, let's do that. Sorry, were you sticking to the wall again? Or are you moving like more into the center?
I'd stick to the wall.
Okay. All right. You will see as soon as you kind of light up those that little bit of like flame. I'm assuming you're like using produce flame or something similar. Okay. Yeah. You can see the reflection of that light again, kind of bouncing off of these walls. And Chiron from above, you see that orange reddish glow of Flux's fire. And you could see it kind of bounce off and kind of hit tiny little portions of other parts of this room as well, as that light is reflected again perfectly across the room to provide the same sort of. Now, obviously, it's a tiny little source. It's not in the correct position to take full advantage of this reflective surface, but you can see that this room is designed exactly like the corridor and the atrium that you went into originally. Flux, you can see that these walls are filled with murals as well, but repeating over and over are battles where a colossus seems to be. And you're like moving across the walls at this point, right? It's not just like right in front of you, but you can see a portion of it, and then you're like moving your hands and moving a little bit. So on the ground, you're basically seeing like tiny little snippets of a battle, and you're seeing dwarves around, and then giant metal feet of something, and you don't know how high it rises, but you can see like portions of it. You can see within the rocks, they're fighting. Again, any number of creatures that would exist in this world. So you're seeing tiny little portions. So this appears to be a continuation, but on a larger, grander scale of the mural within the hallway.
Cool.
Cool. Is there a reason why no one's lit the torch yet?
I think Delyaries warned against it.
Yeah, I think she was thinking that, like when we were in the other room in the ice cave, when we did light the room, we found the dragon inside, and I think it was more because she was checking that this room is like, it's weird that it's not lit, because the other room is so perfectly lit. We don't even believe that they could have made a mistake and had a bad light bulb or something. Something's like, she gets this feeling that it's on purpose that this room is dark, and by lighting it, I don't know. I think she's thinking that she should have probably been checking for traps.
I'll go ahead and light a torch then.
I love it. They're just like, hey, we should be really careful, and we shouldn't we shouldn't just open this door. And you're like, yeah, I know. Tell me about it. We really shouldn't light any torch. Yeah, I know.
Well, it just sounded. I haven't seen any evidence of traps or anything, so it just sounds like worrying.
We haven't checked. I don't think we've only investigated the walls, but we haven't really checked the traps.
Right. So you light a torch, Koli, and you kind of step gently into this room. Let's do so. Flux, you're kind of seeing a little bit of this picture. I want to go to Chiron, who's now like kind of up in the ceiling. You've climbed your 60 feet, and you're realizing that the room is starting to like dome inwards at this point. So you're kind of at the apex of like the vertical portion, and now everything is kind of curving inwards towards the center of the ceiling.
Oh, if it's a perfect sphere, we can kind of calculate where we are. I'm just kidding. Yeah, kind of maybe we're halfway. I don't know how that math works, but okay. So it's not too tall. It's fairly high ceiling.
Yeah, right? If you're at that point, you're 60 feet up in the air. You figure that most likely this dome is going to go another half of that. Okay. So the highest point within this room is probably close to 90 feet. That's huge.
Yeah.
For a carved room that now with that little bit of illumination from Flux's light, and now Koli has brought in that torch. And again, you're getting tiny little pinpoints of reddish orange, yellow light bouncing off of, especially with Koli's torch, because that's burning naturally, right? Like it's flickering and shifting as he's moving and breathing. Flux's flame, I'm imagining he has a little bit more control over it. It's more fixed, so he can get a clearer image. But so you're seeing little pinpoints of different colors and textures on these walls too. So you're realizing that this is probably one massive mural in here as well. You can also, from your vantage point, pick up a large towering shadow in the center of the room.
I see. Can I tell like what is causing that shadow?
Just some form. You're not entirely sure what, but you can just see that light kind of like flicker and pass over it. And the reason you see it is because you're up above, so you can see the movement of that light hit something different than wall. Like the others don't have depth perception in the same way as you do, because you got like an overhead view.
I'd like to kind of try to investigate what is causing this big shadow.
Okay. How would you like to do that?
Moving closer to what I think the origin is, if I can tell.
So this would be you going out into middle space, essentially. Like this is kind of in the center of the room. So how are you going to get there? You could, I can tell you that you would know that your web would reach it.
I'm going to try to shoot another web then. So you're talking it's in the center at the top, it seems like, or the very center in the bottom?
Center on the bottom. Yeah.
Oh, okay. But my web would reach it if I were to try to shoot the web.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. I pull out my web pistol.
Okay.
And shoot the web.
Go web.
18.
So your web shoots out, and you can feel it catch and kind of onto this object, and you kind of tug a little bit. It is holding, so you can crawl across it if you'd like.
Crawl across the web.
Okay. So you start crawling.
One strand.
Yeah. So you are able to start making your way across, and your dark vision starts giving you an outline, and it appears humanoid. You're picking up on roughly like a head shape. Looks like shoulders, and then that's it. You can't really see anything beyond that. And then as your blind sight now comes in within range, you can sense the texture of this form, and it is a dwarven armor. It is also, at this point, realizing about 15 feet tall. It appears to be a statue of some kind standing in the center of the room.
So I kind of climb, and so I'm to it. I can kind of feel it. I like to kind of climb onto the statue and down it, kind of inspecting as I go.
Okay. You are able to determine that it is indeed a statue, stone covered in metal armor of a dwarf. At its side is a hammer and an axe.
Is there an inscription?
It's faded away.
You wouldn't be able to read it, I don't think. Go ahead and roll investigation. I guess there's a chance that you might be able to.
21.
21. Nice.
Didn't have these when I was trying to wild shape, but
You speak Dwarven?
nope.
Then you don't understand it.
It's just gibberish. Okay, but I see an inscription.
Yes.
Okay, I'd like to come out of wild shape now.
Okay.
And I think I have a torch, but if not, I just want to use a club. Yeah, I have 10 torches, so I'm going to light one of them and hold it and beckon to where I think Flux is and say, I don't think he can read Dwarven either, though.
No.
I'll still beckon to him. Is there anyone else in here with us?
Koli has just entered. Yep.
Okay. Koli, do you speak Dwarven?
I do.
I'm just gonna kind of wave the torch then. Does anything happen?
You wave the torch, nothing happens.
We're fine.
I'll go over and see what he's waving at. Did you say the statue was 15 feet tall or 50 feet tall?
15.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he's back down on the ground. Chiron is.
Yes.
Yeah. I made my way, shot a web, made my way down, and then I'm out of wild shape.
I'll walk over with my torch and shine the light on the inscription as
Okay.
well.
So you read Dwarven. You can read very clearly. We take this oath of the peaks, and may the mountains crumble before our gates are broken.
So I'll read it to the crew and ask if that means anything. I'll ask if that means anything to Bruegel and I'll throw Dolid in there just for good measure.
So you have to Dolid too. Okay. So you see Bruegel, and he kind of sniffs a little bit, and he wipes a tear from his eye. And that is the oath that all defenders take when we take this post. It has been too long since I've heard it rung through these halls.
Bruegel, what would happen if you called out the oath again?
I suppose the same thing that happens every time I do it. Dolid laughs at me.
Who is this, Bruegel?
And he looks up. Evinar the Blade. It must be. I've only heard stories of what is within these halls, and Evinar was the greatest of us. He stands here still, ever the guardian, ever the defender.
Now look around. Is this a tomb for Evinar?
He shakes his head. He doesn't know, and again you see shame.
I give him a little pat on the shoulder. That's okay. I think then I'll just take my torch and keep making my way around the circle to see if I see any levers or buttons or anything.
Okay. Is anybody working with Koli to do this? I know, like Chiron and Flux are there. Nova and Delyaries,
Yeah.
are you like coming into this room now as well?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm definitely like looking around for stuff.
Just stuff.
Yeah, stuff though, like the walls, but then you're kind of creeping along the walls too, and I'd help Koli if he's looking for stuff. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So why don't all of you roll investigation? Now that you're all in this room, kind of looking around.
Oh my god. 3.
Great.
18.
12.
What was that, Flux? A 12?
Yeah, 12.
12.
Nice.
Okay, so 12 was the
Golf
highest.
club.
Like
Yeah,
three
we're looking
of you
hard.
got 12, and
I
then
had-
like 8 or something.
I
I
think
had
Chiron got higher.
18.
Oh,
Yeah.
18. Chiron was 18. Sorry. Chiron. The rest of you are like barely able to see anything more than shadows at this point, and you're still having a really hard time, like with any light that you have, the reflections of that light around you kind of bouncing off of the walls, but it's incomplete, is kind of disconcerting, very difficult to kind of focus. Chiron, you are, and perhaps because you were up above, you have a better understanding of the layout of this room, and have maybe your 7 eyes and your cataract are able to help you make better use of this light, but you see a single coin at the base of this statue, golden coin with a dwarven face on it.
It's embedded in the statue, or just loose change?
Loose, just sitting on the pedestal that the statue is standing on.
I pick it up, of course.
Of course.
Inspect the coin.
Okay. You look at it, you flip it over, and it is a gold coin minted in some sort of dwarven hall, clearly dwarven gold. And I will have everyone else roll perception check.
26.
20.
9.
9.
Okay, so Nova, Delyaries, you don't hear this, but Flux and Koli, the two of you hear a very faint click, and you see a cylinder the size of that coin drop out of, or like down into this pedestal. And you hear another click, and then you hear ratcheting noises underneath, very similar to the lock that got you. Oh, did Nova just drop off?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, there she is. Okay. You hear a series of like clunk, clunk, clunks, and then you see the metal boots of this statue shift and kind of like lift just a little bit. You can see the heel kind of come off, and you can hear like that crunching of the weight being changed on the pedestal, and you can hear the very smooth sound of well-oiled armor pull up as this giant dwarf draws its axe and gets ready to swing at Chiron.
Christ! So
Chiron,
there's
put the coin in the hole.
Yeah, we're working in real time now. How long do we have? 5 seconds. So there's a cylinder the size of the coin that has come up. Is that what it is?
It is dropped into the pedestal.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah. So now there's like a hollow cylinder like missing.
Yeah. So I instantly try to slam the coin in the cylinder it's obviously made for. Heads up.
Heads up. The coin does not fit into the cylinder.
What?
Oh, what about the hammer? Can you lift the hammer and put the handle into the cylinder?
Oh, interesting. Okay. You want me to try? You guys are just standing back. That's
You're
fine.
the strongest.
Yeah, I grab it and.
So this hammer is for a 15-foot tall, like stone
I know.
construct dwarf. Okay, so it's not like
I know.
yeah. You're not. It's not just going to be like, oh yeah, I could just pick this up. You're welcome to make an athletics check.
Does it at least look like the handle is the similar size as the cylinder?
Roll investigation.
Okay. Dirty 20.
It looks to be much bigger.
No. Never mind, Chiron.
So you've got basically like a moment, and this will be Flux and Koli have a moment. So Koli, you're kind of like looking. Okay, Chiron like tries to put the coin in, it doesn't work. You're looking over at the hammer. The hammer's still there, but the handle looks way too big. Is there any like? Because the two of you kind of heard this and are able to react to it. So Koli and Flux, what are
Frugal, do
some
something.
reactions? Yeah. Frugal, do something.
Let's see. So Flux would yell out. If I don't know if everybody saw what happened. I don't think everybody saw it. Well, look out! Shit's going down. Shit's happening. And Flux would actually cast jump on himself and jump up onto the swinging hammer, the arm of this beast, and try to do something up there.
Okay, cool.
Hold it back.
All right, so jump on Flux. Okay.
As like, this is initial reaction. Something's happening. I'm going to stop it.
Mm-hmm.
Getting in there and jump on this thing. And you said he has a sword in his hand, hammer.
Sword.
An axe. Yeah.
An axe,
So
that's right.
he has an axe and a hammer. The axe has been like drawn and is being brought up to attack with. The hammer is still at its side.
Yeah. Yeah. And specifically, I'm not secondarily would look to overpower the crazy statue beast, but primarily going to look for weak points or something I could jam up if it's a mechanical thing or disconnect somehow. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Go ahead and roll investigation. This will be at disadvantage because you're still fighting in the dark at this point.
Oh yeah, right. Ooh, still a 17 or a 19.
Okay.
Cool.
You realize that this is a fully armored stone dwarf. Not a whole lot of like weak points that you can see. Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah. All right.
In that case, I will go for a ride.
Okay. So I'm going to put you as your reaction. You're casting jump. You're leaping up to its shoulder and doing a quick assessment of the situation, and then that's where you are. Koli, was there anything else that you wanted to do real quick as a reaction to all this?
Is Chiron moving out of the way, or are you just standing there like
Dumbly? Well, I got rid of the coins, so yeah, I'm gonna duck out of the way.
Wait, always cast that has the light. That's not it. Yeah, I guess I'll run over and side tackle Chiron out of the way.
Okay.
I'm getting out of the way. He's like, oh, yeah. And
well, so maybe I miss you then.
Tackling
Chiron. Okay, let's roll initiative.
I don't know why I rolled so high.
7.
30-20.
Nice.
Me too.
Can't find it.
14.
Oh, there it is.
14 for Chiron. Was that a dirty 20 for Delyaries as well?
22.
22. Oh, 22, not 20.
Right.
2. Got it. Okay.
17.
17 for Koli. Nice, man. You guys are rolling pretty good. And Ward isn't here. Okay, cool. All right, Delyaries, you get to lead us off. Keep in mind you are fighting in the dark.
Mm-hmm.
So there's going to be some things that are going to be difficult to do.
Does she see the because she didn't get to see the whole interaction at the beginning, the arm swing up, she missed that, right? Like I think we rolled the low, so we didn't see that happen, but we just heard Flux telling us, hey, look out, kind of thing. Is that right?
Yes. Yep, that's right.
All right. So and is this statue is actually, it's making the move, right? It's actually swinging, and so that's our like quick reaction.
Exactly. Yeah. So it is basically like Flux and Koli kind of heard the initial movement, so that's why I kind of gave them a little bit of an opportunity to act first. Now all of you have seen the movement, and now we're in initiative. So yeah.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, so she'll probably take out her crossbow, heavy crossbow, and just aim right at it and just try to shoot.
Okay, go ahead and fire away.
21.
21 hits, definitely. Solid strike with your crossbow bolt. Go ahead and roll damage.
6.
Okay. You see the bolt strike squarely in the chest of this thing. It kind of snaps and scatters over the armor. It leaves a tiny little dent.
Oh.
This isn't going to work.
And we've got a armor class now is 19.
Oh, cool.
Okay. Next is Nova.
What is nearby me? Anything?
What are you looking for?
Something to cast light on so we can see.
Dolid's cart.
All right. I'll do that.
Would be the closest, yeah.
Cast it on Dolid. The glowing skeleton.
Okay, I'll do that. I'll cast it on Dolid.
Okay. All right. I need to look up.
He has what is this? No, it lasts for an hour.
Yeah, it lasts for an hour. 20-foot radius of bright light, 20 feet of dim. So that's pretty good. So what are you casting it on?
Dolid.
Okay, his armor or his skeleton?
Is there his skeleton?
Okay.
If you do it on the skeleton, it'll be blocked by the armor.
Oh, okay, fine.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's like
On the armor then.
you would see like his skull kind of glowing outwards, but that's pretty much it. Like because he is like
that would be less helpful.
Yeah. Okay. So so you cast light on his armor, which immediately illuminates, and with bright light in this space, it is now reflecting off of the walls much more, and you're getting. Especially Flux and Chiron, because the two of you have kind of seen portions of this already. You're now seeing a larger portion of the murals here. Like, imagine a puzzle when you get the edges, and then you're doing like one layer in from that. Well, now the two of you are seeing that same puzzle. You have the edges, you've got some pieces added in, and then you've got a couple other like blocks of matching things. So you're seeing where they fit in, but you haven't found all of the connecting pieces, essentially. So that's kind of what you're seeing, and you're seeing this specific. You're seeing Evanar both in dwarven form and now in construct form, over and over and over again, reflected in this mural. And Evanar has led them into battle and to victory over and over and over again. So that's kind of like what this is not only his quote unquote resting place, but it is also a shrine to his accomplishments, essentially. Okay, so you cast light, and Dolid is now the light source with his armor. Your hand, like when you cast it, Dolid kind of like shifts a little bit and sits, and now it kind of like flops into position as if his armor is now more square to the room and illuminates a little bit better. Koli.
Can I tell if is the construct going for whoever's closest, or is it actually going for Chiron?
It seems focused on Chiron because it's kind of in like mid blow, right?
Oh,
but you now can see Flux up on its shoulder, and like as you're there, you're seeing its head kind of turn to its shoulder. So you're not entirely sure what it's focused on.
I don't want to attack it just yet. I'm going to cast Shield of Faith on Chiron.
Okay.
And give him +2 to armor class for the next 10 minutes.
Nice. So Chiron, does that get you to 16 or 18?
It was plus what? +2?
+2.
Yeah.
It gets me to 18.
18. Nice.
Nice. That's awesome. Good spell.
All right. And Chiron, it is your turn.
This is did you call it a conjuration? What'd you call it? Construction?
Construct.
A construct. Yeah.
A construction.
Mm-hmm. A construction.
Surprised you guys put up with me still. Really surprised. I'm going to cast Eldritch Blast.
Okay.
Oh.
Okay. So you square up and tap into some of these new powers you've kind of developed or gained, I should say, not really developed, but gained. Nova, you are immediately going to recognize that spell. 100% without a doubt. Chiron just cast Eldritch Blast. So Chiron, go ahead and roll your attacks. I think you should get 2 attacks with that now.
Yes.
Okay.
So one is a 19 and the other is a 6.
Cool. The 19 will hit.
Cool. So not that one. Not that one. It's this one. Guys. That's a 2
Okay.
damage.
Nice.
Solid 2 damage.
All right. And There we go. Yeah. So Nova, you totally recognize that was an Eldritch Blast. Something that is weird because Chiron's a druid, and that sort of power is normally given only to those that are engaged in some sort of pact with powerful entities. All right, cool. Bonus action or movement to Chiron, anything like that?
Okay. I'm going to move away a little bit.
Okay. Flux, to you on the shoulder of Evanar.
Yes. So I've seen the pictures now on the wall, given the light, and I'm going to turn down my music because it just got crazy. and I'm going to yell out to the group, "This is a dwarven hero, it appears. Maybe we shouldn't attack. Maybe we should have Bruegel recite the oath." And I'm going to jump off and away from it. And just take a defensive posture near the rest of the group if they're kind of together.
Okay. And with that, you hear Bruegel start to, he kind of steps up confidently, puts his kind of fist up in the air, hits his chest a couple times, and "We take this oath of the peaks, and may the mountains and then the hammer swings from beside him and catches him in the side, and he gets hit and flung into the darkness.
Son of a bitch.
And you can hear the clang as he hits one of the walls. And
did not expect that.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
We take this. Oh, shit.
Yep.
Great.
And the statue of Evanar is going to, so that was first attack. It is going to make its second against Chiron. So it's going to like step forward and hit the ground with one heavy foot, take another off the pedestal. So now it's on the ground completely, and then kind of swings across with this axe at you. 16 will miss. You, thanks to Koli giving you the shield of faith. You stand there, like throw up your hands in protection, and that flash of light of Koli's magic deflects the blade just over you, and you're fine. You hear a groan from the darkness as Bruegel like starts to climb to his feet. Delyaries.
Delyaries is going to run over to Bruegel and offer some help and say, "What was it?" Because she speaks Dwarvish also. So, what was it that you were attempting to say to the construct?
It's the oath, oath of the defenders. We take this oath of the peaks, and may the mountains crumble before our gates are broken. But don't try it, lass. Evanar isn't having any of it. We've forsaken the rituals of access, and this is our. And he kind of like looks over, and you're looking out now. The reflections of all this different sources of light off of this massive construct is. This is our treasure now, and he just kind of shakes his head. I'm not sure we win in any scenario.
She'll just ask him, "Is there any way to stop him from attacking us?"
And he kind of shrugs, and I'm too young to know. Most of the defenders died before I arrived. There was no one here to teach me. Dolid took me in. He's all I've ever known. And he's just like defeated. You know, this is his sole purpose, right? Is to hold the defenders together, even if it's just him and Dolid. And now he's having to face off against the hero of this entire order of knights. And like he's having a crisis of honor right now. Like he's like, whatever you're saying, like he's hearing it, but he's not really reacting to what you're saying so much as thinking. He's just talking out loud about his own assessment of the situation. It just kind of syncs up a little bit to what you're asking him.
All right. So there's no way he's going to share any kind of magical words with us.
He honestly, he doesn't know.
He doesn't know.
It's not a question of whether or not he's willing to share it or help you or not. He simply doesn't know.
All right. So I'll just kind of I think I was like kind of holding his back up a little bit while he was I'll just say, rest against the wall, just kind of push him back, and just move away from him and back towards the group.
I'll get in this fight in a moment. I just need to take a breath. You look after Dolid, won't you?
And she looks over at Dolid and just kind of.
So you're just seeing like Dolid right now is in his cart, just like leaning up against the wall, kind of like arms splayed out, just light shining off of his armor. It's very weird. Like there's kind of like a savior complex coming off of him a little bit. And you're not entirely sure why Nova would have like positioned him like that. It's just kind of weird. It's like she's there's more pressing matters at hand, but Nova was really taking the time to be kind of funny. So yeah, it's just weird.
Kind of creeping me out. So she was going to kind of walk away from it.
Okay, so that was Delyaries. Nova, your turn.
I am going to try and cast Dispel Magic on him.
Okay.
And see what happens. So it'll be at 5th level.
Okay. Let's see here. All right. Go ahead and make a charisma check.
Charisma check. So 17.
Nice. So you, what does this look like as this construct kind of like grinds to a halt, controlled by your magic?
I feel like it gets that like faint, like to a lesser extent, that faint glow that I get when I roll a natural 20.
Okay, kind of that celestial light.
Kind of surrounds
emanating
it
from you. Okay, so there's that slight glow that starts to surround this form, and it kind of shifts from one foot to the other. It looks over to Nova, realizing that she is the source of this magic. And as it turns, trying to move towards her, you can see it kind of slow down, and then freeze kind of in mid-step. And that magic kind of gently continues to swirl around the construct. You are not entirely sure if this will be a permanent dispelling of this power, but it's certainly working for now. You're
right,
like,
so
yeah.
What are we doing, guys? Is there any treasure in here, or is there any something that we can use? I was under the impression that we were going to find some sort of aid. Was it supposed to be him, but he's now attacking us? Like, what are we doing now?
Bruegel kind of limps back into the center of the room, and he moves over to you and Dolid, actually, because you're over next to him. And hi, old friend. We may have met our match here, right? And he's like, your armor, there's something new about it. It's I like it. You wear it well. And he, as you're kind of asking this, is there anything of value here? And he just kind of shakes his head, and he's, Evanar is the treasure. It's this is everything that we would need. The thing that would help us in our time of need. And he just kind of shakes his head, but I don't know how to return him, and I'm not sure that your magic will hold.
I'm not sure either. So, would he follow us out? Because if he follows us out, then he's going to fall into the thing outside.
And you can see immediately that was exactly Bruegel's concern. He just nods. He doesn't know the answer to that, but he knows that if it does follow, it will destroy that bridge and fall, which is like equally as terrible.
Okay. So let's go, and maybe we can see if we can lock the door.
Oh, we're gonna lock ourselves in?
No, we leave, and then we lock the door from the outside. Don't be
Something's gotta
crazy.
It's gonna be fun.
I love Delyaries like pulling a Rorschach with this guy. Oh, you're locked in here with me.
Something's got to go in that cylinder.
Has anybody tried to talk to
Evanar?
Evanar?
I mean, Bruegel did.
Oh, and Evanar didn't react when he tried to talk to him at all.
I mean,
Smacked him with his
so
He
yeah.
reacted.
Oh, he reacted badly.
Yeah.
He basically
Yeah.
was like, "Shut the hell up, dude! I don't want to hear it."
He doesn't want to talk to us.
Yeah. How about Flux? What are you feeling about this? Because you were kind of the initial. This is a this is a dwarven warrior. Like, we shouldn't fight it. What are you thinking right now?
I'm thinking that we shouldn't fight it, and that we should lock it in and leave it be. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking.
Okay.
And he's kind of frozen and.
Yes. Yeah.
Magical freeze.
There's just kind of like a very slow swirl of Nova's kind of celestial aura around it, kind of binding it in place.
Does that aura light it up at all? Is there? Maybe-
Yeah. I think
Is it?
faintly it would provide a little bit of light. Yep.
Is there anywhere that coin might fit, like a medallion or a coin slot or anything?
Go ahead and roll investigation.
Roll high.
I did not. I rolled a 4.
Oh, okay.
Oh no, it was
You're
opposite.
you're looking over, and you do not see any obvious socket or mounting for that coin.
And there's nothing else on that pedestal except for the gold coin and the cylinder now.
Sure. Yeah. If you're sharing all of this, you could investigate the pedestal again.
Okay.
And maybe someone else can help you, or we're quote unquote out of combat, so we don't need to necessarily use initiative order at this point. So if you want to try and get some help, others can assist you.
Yeah.
There's light, so maybe it'll be a little easier to see.
Yeah, I'm imagining that at this point, Bruegel is going to grab Dolid's cart and kind of wheel him around, and it's Dolid kind of flops backwards, so that way most of the light is radiating upwards, and now it's bouncing off of this domed reflective ceiling and actually giving you a little bit better illumination than what you were getting before.
I rolled a 10 investigation.
Okay. There is a small depression in the back of the pedestal that you see. It does not fit a coin or anything like that, but there is an imperfection in the stone that you notice.
I'll call that out to the group and I'll see if I can push it. Is it a button or is it just maybe if we all pushed on it, maybe the pedestal moves? I don't know.
So you go over and you see it and you place a hand on it, and there is a slight click. A small little panel in the pedestal kind of drops forward, opens up a small little compartment, and you reach in and you feel a lever and you pull that lever, and it is again the precision of this machinery is unbelievable. You pull it, and the pedestal kind of splits in two and swings outwards, creating wings, and a staircase kind of drops down underneath it. And you see a light illuminate, and then another, and then another, and then another, and kind of down the stair, and you get a white light glow of artificial magical light mixed with the luminosity of metals. So you're getting yellows and oranges and things like that.
Nice. I'll call out to the group, let's go. And then I'll jump over the pedestal down into the stairs.
All right. So you're
Just
making
diving in.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I love it. Flux. Koli is now the impulsive one in the group. How do you feel?
I know. What's going on?
What the hell, man?
You know, Flux is like weighing his options slowly, like taking his time, being
Yeah.
very thoughtful about it.
So Koli, you start down those stairs. Who joins him?
Who's coming with me?
Flux joins.
Okay.
Polaris is joining too.
Okay. Chiron and Nova.
Yeah.
I mean, us two have been the conservative ones, Nova. So
stragglers, but I don't really want to hang out here for when my spell stops working.
I can read between the lines. You don't want to hang out here with me, so I'm going to head into.
Although, I will, before I go down, I will end the light spell on Dolid.
On Dolid? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it was good while it lasted, friend. And Bruegel kind of like hefts Dolid back up to like an upright position in the cart. He kind of sees you go down and, well, Dolid, you keep watch up here. We'll investigate down these stairs. Good luck, friend. And he follows. So all of you kind of go downstairs. Dolid remains in that main room as a guard. Hopefully, if something happens, he can warn you. And
send a message.
Yeah. You descend down to these steps, and this is the vault, neatly organized, laid out in perfect rows are stacks of coins, chests, and hanging on the walls are weapons that the defenders have used for centuries, perhaps millennia. You know that many of these weapons, you recognize them from the murals. These are the weapons of the fallen heroes of the defenders, and they have found their way to this vault for safekeeping. And you can see Bruegel is, "Hi, all of you. This is sacred ground. Watch your step, mind your manners here. The honorable ones have left this for the defenders." And he's taken on a level of authority and command that you haven't seen from him yet. He's very reverent in this moment. Now, carefully, we look for anything of use, and we leave this as we found it. Are you going to kill Bruegel? You just leave him down here and take everything? Oh, you look at you, Flux.
These weapons. Yeah. Oh my god.
So that's what he asks of you. He isn't giving you a command, but he's certainly strongly suggesting that you leave everything as is. You simply look for anything that might be of use in this moment. What do you guys do?
Investigate.
Okay.
Snoop around. Mm-hmm. Take inventory. I don't know. What do you guys want to do?
Yeah, Flux, even before Bruegel said that, can appreciate and respect this hall, or this vault, whatever it is, and the importance and of all the artifacts here. You know, I wouldn't try to do anything shifty.
Okay.
No sticky fingers?
No, just
roll sleight of hand.
Investigate.
Yeah.
Sleight of hand investigation.
Yeah. Can I roll investigate using my dexterity modifier?
Delyaries is like kicking at, if she's walking over treasure, she's kind of like kicking at it, listening to how it sounds, like how nice that would sound in my pocket. I'm very desperately not to touch anything.
So I have a feeling that there's a little bit of trust built with Flux, because Flux was the first one to be like, look, this is a dwarven warrior, like we should fight it. Bruegel heard that. Delyaries, the way that you're like walking through here, like eyeing everything, Bruegel's probably like watching you like a hawk just like pass through this room.
She's like touching. She's like touching.
That's what I was gonna say. I feel like as you're walking by, you're just like,
Yeah.
"Oh."
Yeah. It's like, this would be so cool. Oh my god, look what I can buy with all of this. Oh, wow.
Exactly. I think so. Nova, did you investigate?
I'll roll. Nope, I did not. I rolled a 4. I kind of just am just looking around. All of this is really cool.
Yeah, so you're just taking it all in. The walls are now the one difference of this large room, and it's roughly square, and you get the feeling that where you're looking, you're facing like the same direction as the entrance to the room that's above you, and you can see the curvature of that back wall kind of matches the curvature of the room above you. So you're imagining this is kind of like almost like a pie slice, if you will, of that top room. And so I guess it's more triangular. I said square, but more triangular. And the back wall is curved. The one feature that you recognize immediately that stands out is the fact that these walls there's no murals. There's no anything on them except for the hanging weapons. They do not have any sort of decoration. This room is purely functional to hold stuff. There's even the walls appear a little bit coarser. The way that they're catching the torchlight and the ambient light from above, you can see tiny little imperfections and shadows, very, very small, but the work that went into this room was not nearly what went into the chambers above you. So that's kind of, and you just see very neatly organized coins, bars of metals, and the weapons. I imagine you probably see also at this point, now that you're looking around a little bit more, you're seeing shelves and tables filled with precious gems, both cut and uncut. Just kind of like bricks of different valuable stones and metals. Basically, the wealth that the defenders have collected or been gifted, presumably over the years. You also don't know, if they are completely good. These might have been things, they're spoils of their campaigns, taken as the spoils of war, defending different places, or if they were paid to do it. You don't know if they were a mercenary company or if they dabbled in any of that, but this is basically the wealth that they've collected. Anybody else kind of looking around? Anything for anything in particular?
Are all the swords pretty uniform, or is there any sword that stands out?
So you see a mixture of different weapons. Most of them are definitely hammers, the preferred weapon of dwarves. You see some axes, a couple swords. I would say the one that is going to be the departure is going to be a great sword. And this is, I'm going to say, so great swords are normally like longer. This one isn't necessarily longer. The blade is just really wide. It's like a broadsword type design. So that's the one that's kind of interesting. Like, one of these things is not like the others type of thing. So,
is there any? Sorry. Good. Okay. Is there anything with a bird motif?
A bird motif. Oh,
Yeah.
Go and roll investigation.
13.
You see bird motif. Yeah, I think you would see some things with large birds. Maybe not, like, you wouldn't be able to tell if, is this like a hawk or an eagle or a crow or raven, like not necessarily in that way, but I think you would see some carvings of birds in some of the coins when they were made. As far as the weapons, I don't think you would see anything like that, and certainly not like a crest of any kind with a bird. And in fact, I would say that you don't see any crests. Like the defenders don't really have a sigil of any kind, and if they came here with them from their previous families or clans or anything like that, it appears that maybe they cast them off, or perhaps when they died, they are cast off and they died as defenders, not as anything else. So I think, and I'm giving you that information because Chiron, because of your military background.
Yep.
I think like you would catch that, I think, before anyone else would.
I don't do any looting.
I don't do any looting. Anyone else kind of looking around?
Are there any books, or is it just treasure and weapons?
Oh. That is a good question. Yes, there is one book.
Not big readers.
There's one book. You approach it. It is on a pedestal of its own, and within it is a record of all of the defenders of the peak.
Nice.
I like very quickly you can look at it and immediately recognize that that's what it is. And there are thousands of names in this book. And some are given short descriptions of where they came from, when they died. Others have like brief lists of like their accomplishments and exploits. And then a few of them are given like longer biographies explaining a little bit more of their history and their accomplishments as defenders. So yeah, I would say I think that would be an appropriate thing to find here, because I don't have any books listed, but I think that would make sense to be stored here instead of like, because it wouldn't get damaged in here.
So it's not a history book, then, right? You're just saying is it a history book, or is it more of like
ish? Yeah, it's not like it's not a narrative.
So it's more like a registry.
Yeah. Yep. It's definitely more like a registry. Like it's mostly lists with small explanations of some things that are in there. And I think a Nova, like especially as a researcher, having spent so much time in academia and reading and studying, you would very quickly kind of flipping through these pages realize that there are several contributors to this record, right? So some contributors were like name, where they came from, day they died, and that's it. And then there's just like a steady list of those. And then when the next contributor kind of took over the responsibility of chronicling everything, they became more flowery, and they were adding a narrative and more in-depth history to the entries that are in here. So it is it appears to be complete as far as a complete list, but it varies in explanations and depth, I guess.
Okay.
Can we ask Bruegel, like, what can we take out of this room? And he said to look for something that can help us, but what are we allowed to take?
And he kind of looks at you and, we're looking for something that will help us leave here without Evanar fallen to his death.
Is there anything special about that broadsword, or is it just a broadsword?
It looks like a broadsword. Yep. Okay. I think all of these weapons have been used. Like, they're not in pristine condition. They're not showpieces. Like, all of them have damage to them, like nicks in the blades and things like that. But all are serviceable weapons. Like they're all useful still. They're not rusted or damaged beyond use. They're they're tools. Like they're being used. They were used at one point. Yeah.
Are there any? I don't even know what I'm looking for. Are there any scepters or maybe something to control Evanar?
You don't see anything like that down here. Why don't you all make an investigation check collectively, now all focusing on the same thing. Like, you're all looking for something that will help you solve what Bruegel just like voiced out loud, essentially, instead of like, oh, I'm looking for my thing.
Yeah.
12.
Nova is just looking through this book. I rolled a 1.
Yeah.
9.
I don't care about finding anything else.
5.
13.
Oh boy.
And Chiron, what was
won.
yours?
12.
12. Okay. It's 12, 13. I think that Delyaries, Delyaries, you're going to be the only one that sees this. There is a small circular hollow in the ceiling above you, just as you kind of at the base of these steps. And you're kind of like, you basically retrace your steps starting from the beginning, and again going through meticulously and methodically instead of like and you look up and you see above you a small hollow, and you can see through it. You can see that dull glow of Nova's magic, so you know that actually came all the way through. And I'm trying to think if you would. I think the cylinder that dropped out of that is somewhere down here. You just don't know where it is.
I'll probably point. So she's kind of frustrated. She can do anything or take any of that treasure, but as she looks up and sees that hole, she kind of yells to everybody else, "Hey, look!" and saying, the cylinder must have dropped down into this room. Should try to find it.
I'll go start looking.
Okay. Bruegel his eyes are going to light up, and he's going to start searching around as well. And so I'm going to have all of you roll another investigation check. If you can think of another check for this, I'm open to suggestions, because I think there might be some other ways for you to figure out where it might have gone aside from a pure investigation check.
Like how it dropped out of the. How it dropped out?
Yeah.
Perception, maybe?
Yeah, perception might be one. I'm trying to think of like an intelligence save, if you're better at that.
Arcana.
I was gonna say
Maybe
something
Arcana. Arcana might help.
I would do Arcana.
Okay, yeah, because this is like clearly like a magical trigger. So Arcana might work. Absolutely. There you go. That's a good one. Yep.
I rolled a 5 for Arcana.
Not gonna help.
Yeah. I rolled an 11 or a 1 for Arcana.
Oh,
Anybody else?
Arcana.
Are we all rolling for Arcana, or are we?
Jesus.
It's up to you. If there's other things that you think would make sense in this, I was just thinking it's not just investigation. There's other things that might be useful in finding out where this went. So I was just kind of throwing out some suggestions, and I'm open to suggestions as well if you think like another skill might be pertinent.
So I rolled an 11 for perception, an 11 for Arcana, and a 9 for an intelligence check.
Koli, you're having a really hard time right now trying to figure this out. Like everything's very confusing. Yeah, I like that. That's great.
Delyaries
banging my head against the wall.
Yeah.
Delyaries just rolled in for investigation check. 23.
23. Okay.
Oh,
so you
lovely.
Nice. So you start looking at the path that this would have fallen. You start looking at the floor. You're looking at the walls, and you actually step back out onto the stairs, and you're looking at what opened up and where these stairs went. And you realize that most likely these stairs actually folded over it. The way that they came into being hid the key. So it's kind of like a dead man's switch. So if you didn't set it off and you went down into the vault, essentially you're locking your way in here, so you have to go back through Evanar. So like you had an opportunity to leave before that, but now that you're here, Evanar cannot be like reset, quote unquote. But now that you've kind of figured that out, yeah, it's been in your hand the whole time. You've been holding it. You just forgot where it was. So you believe that if you can leave someone down here, reset the pedestal so the stairs retract and close back up, then that cylinder can be retrieved, and then replaced.
So she's probably going to go to Koli because Koli's the first one that triggered this pathway in the first place, and just tell him, "Hey, look what I found," and kind of relay that Tyre information.
Okay. Somebody else want to come with me in case I have to roll something?
Chiron should go with you so he can cast guidance on you to help you with whatever check you need to do.
I can do that.
I have guidance too. I've actually been doing that.
I thought we were forgetting that.
How do you think I got to 9? Come on.
Well, maybe then never mind.
Delyaries, let's go check it out.
Okay. Bruegel is he kind of smiles and kind of like grabs Delyaries, kind of like grabs your arm a little bit and shakes it in like a reassuring thank you way. Well done, lass. We'll be out of here soon, and let me help. And he follows Koli and Chiron up. Dolid, you still there, friend? Everything good? And he climbs out. Who's staying down there?
I think I volunteer to stay down there.
Delyaries says, I volunteer. Be surrounded by treasure.
Yeah.
All by myself.
Look at it one more time.
Flux would stay too.
Okay. So Flux and Delyaries. Nova, are you going up or staying down?
I'll go up.
Okay.
Just in case I need to recast.
You stay down there and wag your finger at those other two.
Yeah. You're leaving the two rogues. You're leaving the two rogues.
Oh, wait.
The stairs are going to go out there.
Are
like,
they
I
the
can't
two
believe they
that
fell for
were
that.
that stole the maps last time?
Right. Yeah.
Then no, she's going to stay down there with them. No way. Yeah, no way.
I already have my hands in the pocket. Like
I imagine like Bruegel kind of looks to you, Nova, like, oh, are you coming to help us? Before he even finishes saying that sentence, you stare back at Flux and Delyaries and you say to him, no. Like
And I just go back down the stairs.
Damn it.
All right, so we've got three on top, 3 down below, and so Chiron, Koli, and you will both have. You can roll an athletics check with advantage because Bruegel will be helping you. Go ahead and roll athletics to push the wings of this pedestal back into position to be able to close it.
25.
12
Okay.
and 25.
Cool. All right. So I think Chiron, you're able to very easily, with Bruegel's help, just kind of like push. And as soon as Bruegel realizes you've got it, he runs over to Koli, and the two of them are able to kind of match that speed and push it, and you hear that nice click.
Rule comes over. I'm like, I got it.
Yeah. So I know. Dolid said that I should help out. Yeah, sitting over there in his cart, not offering a hand. And the top clicks, and you can hear that kind of sliding sound of that lever going back into position. And you kind of reach in and again tap that small indentation, which flips back out, and everything locks into place. You can hear the sliding sounds of the staircase below lifting back into the pedestal below, the underside of it. Flux, Delyaries, Nova, do you have any light down there? Because it is completely dark as soon as it closes. All of the lights in this room go out.
I can cast light on
Okay.
something.
Cool. There's plenty of items here to cast on, so that's not. Yeah. So you have a light, and Delyaries, just as you thought, there is a small indentation in the floor, just enough to hide a small cylinder that would have dropped from the ceiling underneath those stairs. And around it, inscribed into the floor, is a phrase in Dwarven.
Can I read it?
And you speak Dwarven, right?
Yeah.
Okay. It reads, Evinar watches over us, and the peaks watch over him.
Who are the peaks?
You believe the mountain range that you're...
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So can I just pull? So is it something that I can just pull it out?
So you grab it and you pull, and it is stuck in place.
Great. Anybody know how to get this thing out?
Flux might do an Arcana check to
Sure. Yeah, go ahead and roll Arcana.
29.
The phrase needs to be spoken in Dwarven to unlock it.
There you go.
I can. Can you speak Dwarven?
Nope.
Nope.
I would just relay that to you.
Guess
You
I
may relay the phrase.
So unless you guys think otherwise, I'm going to say it.
Yep.
So I'll speak Dwarven and then I recite the inscription.
As you do, there's a small flash of blue-green light that kind of spins around over the inscription, and that cylinder slowly lifts up just a little bit as if it was released, and you're able to grab it and pull out easily. And as you do, the floor around you raises up a little bit, raises you towards the ceiling. And you get to that point, and now that you're at the ceiling, you can see that there is a similar inscription on the ceiling, and you're able to push that cylinder back into place. There's a flash of blue-green light that locks it as well, holds it into place. Koli, Chiron, and Bruegel, the three of you, will see that small hole be filled perfectly as that cylinder is placed. And as that happens, you can see Nova's magic start to swirl a little bit faster and then burst and kind of dissipate. And Evanar drops its weapons to its side, turns, walks back over to the pedestal, like just thundering steps. And you realize that you better hurry up and open it before he stands on top, because otherwise you won't be able to get them out.
Chiron, want to go get some lunch?
Oh God!
All right, so yeah. I'll rush to the back and I'll push the little button and pull the lever.
Okay, perfect. So you do that. It swings open. Evanar's form stops in front of the pedestal. The stairs drop from below. The three of you are able to make your way up. I'm going to ask, does anybody get sticky fingers before ascending those stairs? Yeah, I want to at least give you the opportunity. That obviously doesn't mean that you need to take it, but I want to at least give you the opportunity.
Are you guys jingling when you're walking out?
Yeah. Pants are sagging down. Like
My character hasn't seen Raiders of the Lost Ark, but I'm thinking about that right now. She probably just touching things but she's not moving them. She's just like,
just dancing fingertips off of the stacks of everything. Yeah.
So much treasure.
Okay.
No.
All right.
Flux, you're awfully quiet. Open your mouth.
Yeah.
Flux.
Okay. All right. So you, the three of you, take the stairs out. You're able to easily push those wings. The one thing you notice, actually, and Koli and Chiron, because you were there to place them back in the first time, you realize that cylinder actually hangs in the air, and there is a small little blue-green glow. So you've taken the top off of that pedestal, but the cylinder portion still hangs there in position, and then the pedestal kind of closes in around it again. As soon as that happens, and that latch is closed, Evanar takes those last couple steps up onto it, takes position, drops weapons to the side, and then stands still. As that happens, Bruegel is just, well, Dolid here needs his afternoon beer. Let's say we call it a day. Nova, did you take that book, or did you leave it down there?
I left it.
Okay.
I wouldn't have taken it.
I didn't think so. I just wanted to ask. And he just lets out a sigh of relief, and he goes over to Dolid, kind of claps him on the shoulder, and, well done, Dolid. Couldn't have done it without you. And he starts pushing the cart out, and he looks back at all of you. Well, are you coming?
I'll follow behind him reluctantly.
I'll go with Koli as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we're going to, I think we're going to end the session tonight as you're going down this corridor into the atrium, kind of looking around. You can see Bruegel he's getting a little misty-eyed over this whole thing. The fact that most likely he will never return here. This was kind of like a one-time thing. He got to see Evanar barely escape with your lives. He's pretty sure you all would have died there. And at the very least, he would have died there if it wasn't for all of you. So he kind of nods and looks everything over, just like a shopkeep closing everything down, closing the business down and turning off the lights for the last time. That's kind of the same sort of vibe that he's got going on. And he lets kind of all of you exit, and he pushes Dolid out and just nods and looks around and, well, okay. And he steps out and grasps the door and kind of pulls it shut. And Delyaries, you hear I think you're going to appreciate this more than the others because you were the one that kind of unlocked it. As it clicks shut, you hear the mechanisms all like just fold into place. And again, like the quality of this machinery is uncanny. And it's just so impressive. And it clicks and it closes, and there's a tiny little like burst of air as those doors kind of like seal shut again. And you are standing on the edge of that chasm, kind of looking at this door and turning to go back up the tunnel. So we're going to leave it there for tonight because the movement across this is going to be a thing now. So we'll wait until next time to do that. So yeah,
good session. That was really that was good.
That was kind of fun. Like we don't do many puzzles.
Yeah, I like puzzles.
Yeah, we don't do many puzzles in this. I'm not a huge fan of them because I find them very difficult to explain accurately without simply telling like what it is. So I did want to have like a little bit of throw one of those in there every once in a while. So cool. Well, I'm glad you enjoyed it. It was fun for me because I honestly was like, man, okay, there's a couple ways I can think of that they might be able to figure this out. But they might get into trouble real fast. They're not careful. So yeah, that was cool. Great teamwork too. Like all of you kind of doing something a little bit different, like looking for something different or investigating a different portion of what you were looking at to try and like get more information. So that was really cool. It was fun for me because I get to like explain a whole bunch more stuff. Like, oh yeah, there's this and this and this. Yeah.
It's funny how our greed, like it would be so easy for Flux and Delyaries to like give into the greed of just like, oh, we're just gonna take some stuff and nobody's gonna know about it. But then now we're like, well, I'm thinking about it's gonna set a trap for the rest of the group. I don't want to do that. So it's like we're starting to get a little bit more, maybe not moral, just we want to survive.
Yeah, I mean, you're recognizing that working with others is like beneficial, and it's worth a little bit of a sacrifice,
right?
So yeah, I was curious how it was going to go down, and honestly, like I was half expecting Bruegel and Dolid not to be there. I thought that Nova and Chiron were going to be like, oh shit, all right, we're just going to like dart across and go in real quick, and like that would be it. And so the fact that they were there, I think, was kind of changed the dynamic, at least for me, like how I had imagined this going. It changed the dynamic for me of like, okay, how are they going to be involved, and what are they doing, and what's especially Bruegel, like what's his attitude towards this whole thing.
Right.
So
there's that persuasion check in the beginning. I thought at the end of the last time we were going to dart across and knock over the bridge.
And
yeah, this journey
that's what I thought too. Yeah.
So
that's what I thought. So yeah, you guys actually talking with them and then bringing them along definitely changed it from my perspective. So which I liked. I think that was fun to give, because like I can tell you right now, and I think you guys probably picked up on it. Like Bruegel is incredibly appreciative the fact that he got to experience this. So like, and he wouldn't have been able to without you. So you've given him this like huge gift that he otherwise wouldn't have ever had access to. He never would have dreamed that it was even possible, right? So yeah, this is cool. I like that. So now we can tell Ward next week that he missed out on on all this cool
The
stuff.
best one. All the cool stuff.
We're all level 12 now, Ward.
Yeah.
You though.
Yeah. Actually, so probably next session, because I'm imagining you guys are probably going to leave Frost Hall at sometime next session, maybe midway through or at the end or whatever. But I think at that we're going to level up because you guys will be 10 at that point, right?
Yes.
Level 10. Okay. Yeah. So I think that'd be good because you guys you've accomplished quite a bit at level 9 so far. Because I was looking through my notes, man, I've been level 9 for a while. Okay, it's time. It's time to get. Yeah. Cool. All right.
So,
go
what
ahead.
was the whole thing with the coin? Was that just like, did it set up a trap thinking that we were stealing a coin?
Simple catch a thief. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep. It's cheese on a mousetrap.
In my mind, I was thinking it was like a counterweight to the
I was thinking that
stone
too.
key.
And I was like, oh, I guess it just all comes
Yeah,
back together.
it's
on
just
its own.
somebody dropped a coin on their way out.
Yep. If it's to make sure that like greed is rewarded essentially appropriately. Yeah. So yeah, cheese on a mousetrap.
So if you two had taken something, we'd have started all over again.
Yeah.
Well, probably not from below.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because you'd reset everything, and presumably it was under like the appropriate circumstances.
It would have been natural for something to come out of it.
Right. Yeah. But that coin on the top was out in the open for a reason.
But Flux, we don't know that.
Yeah.
Only
No.
so,
La 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 la.
Yeah. Not everything is as it seems. Cool.
Boy, it's weird not having Ward here to continue the conversation for 20 minutes.
Oh, give on. Yeah, I know. He always extends the session. Always goes to 11:30.
Joe, I know we want to finish, but I've got a diatribe I need to go on. And then a few detailed questions to ask you. I can make fun of him because I know him.
Yeah. That's so good.
Just totally make up a different recap for him, and he's going to be like, "What?"
Yeah.
And say, "No, I'm kidding. We're going to tie the really."
Yeah, we won the
We
game.
just decided to all come back across the bridge and leave Frost Hall, and that was it. And we're just wandering around in the mountains.
We actually spent 2 weeks traveling to Point Grey, and we're now on a pirate ship, and it's awesome. Like,
but we left you in the cave with Bruegel and Dolid.
They said they really needed a recruit, so we volunteered you.
If Dolid is alive, you can talk to him.
Oh man, so good. Awesome. All right, everyone. Well, this is a great session. Thanks for jumping on. And we'll pick up on the edge of this chasm next week. And yeah, I don't think it will be a huge deal. I know that it might be. That's why I wanted to stop right there, because it is with specifically because of Chiron and Nova, and then because Bruegel and Dolid all went across and didn't quite do very well on their dexterity saves. So there might be
spoiler alert, Nova's gonna fly over. So
right.
You guys know
Yeah.
Good
So
luck.
two sessions from now, it will be Nova and all new characters.
I'm just gonna run across.
Right, yeah. Koli's just gonna run. Yeah, things are gonna be
He's gonna
collapsing
go
behind
first.
him. Yeah, yeah. So good, awesome.
I almost went this time until he said we were ending it.
Well, I want to give Ward a chance to make his way across again too.
Fall to his death.
Yeah, that was a whole thing. That was the whole thing last time on the way over. Cool. All right, everyone, have a great night, and see you next week.
Awesome. Thanks,
All right.
guys.
Bye.
Bye.